What is happening, YouTube? Um, Two interesting things that happened for the Los Angeles Clippers this week. Um, the first one, it's not like a direct move on what the team did, but it's like a more personal news, and it's the Paul George and Devin Booker beef. Um, Paul George and Devin Booker, they went at it for a while. Back in 2020, honestly, I would say like early 2021 or 2020, I forgot, or late 2020, I forgot. But Paul George, Devin Booker, they got in a little scuffle. Just a typical regular, like a heated moment. Um, Devin Booker just called Paul George soft, and then um, Paul George, he was just chirping back and all that. I forgot exactly what happened because it was like so long ago. But now there is a new beef, and then it started from Paul George podcast. He asked Clay Thompson like a just like a regular casual question. He asked Clay Thompson um what was your favorite like trash talking moment because he called Clay like a he's like a I forgot what he said earlier, but he's like a sneaky trash talker or something like that because or he's a low key trash talker because Clay a lot of people they don't see Clay as a trash talker, but he actually does talk a decent amount of trash, um, especially mainly with the Grizzlies. But Paul George he asked the question, "What was your favorite moment of trash talking?" And he kind of like and it was just a regular conversation, and then like Paul George um kind of like used one of the reference when he did like the four ring when Clay flashed a four ring to Devin Booker, and then Clay, he just gave his response and he takes accountability. He said that I took it too far and all that. Um, that's not really like the best thing that I did, and then. He admits that Devin Booker was cooking the heck out of him and all that, and it would just seem to be like a genuine conversation. But Devin Booker came out of nowhere. He first said Klay Thompson, he just shows a respect emoji. Then he said, "Is this the answer you are looking for?" So it looks like that Devin Booker, he got extra sensitive about it. Um, to be fair, you could. It is, I guess, if you still have bad blood with Paul George, I guess Booker might be like a little bit alarmed on why he feels that way. But I mean, from like a from like your own from like a third person point of view, just the way like the tone of Paul George asking about when he refers Devin Booker, it was just a casual like a reference. It wasn't like oh yeah he didn't say that. He didn't say like, for example, oh yeah, I like what you did to Devin Booker. He didn't say it like that. He just said like, oh, like kind of like the one that like the one that you uh showed your four rings to like Devin Booker like that. Like if you could like tell by Paul George tone, it didn't seem that he was trying to get Clay to bait something. But if he said like in a tone that like kind of like cheering on or something like that, I would have it would have been more of Devin Booker's defense in my opinion. But obviously, I'm a Clippers fan, so I might automatically have some bias. But even as a third party standpoint, you could just tell by Paul George's demeanor that it wasn't really meant to be serious. And then Booker, he just came out of nowhere and didn't get passive aggressive and all that. And then Paul George did another response on his Twitch stream, and he said like he just said he asked Klay Thompson a question, and then he called Devin Booker quote unquote sorry ass, and then it's only gonna get stronger. The beef is only gonna get stronger. And honestly, I kind of like what how Paul George mindset is for the next season because there was another quote of him saying that he's on his bully season, so he's gonna go crazy. And I honestly could see that because Paul George and Russ, they're like brothers. They're essentially brothers, and they get the best out of each other, especially how what Russ did with Paul George. So I like what I'm hearing. Um, and another thing is, I want to make a personal standpoint. NBA, do not fumble this. You have to put the Clippers versus Phoenix Suns on Christmas and in one of your schedulings, man, because the NBA always been doing the Clippers dirty. If I'm being honest with you, yeah, I know that we haven't have too much playoff success, but still, we have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It's at least something fun to be on TV. I mean, they literally put the Knicks before the Clippers, man. Um, what have the Knicks done that is more successful than the Clippers? No direct disrespect to New York. They are a rich franchise, but I mean, if you wanna like use success for the Clippers, I guess they just put the Knicks while their best player was like Emmanuel Quickly, R.J. Barrett, or Quentin Grimes. So that just doesn't really make sense that they haven't been putting Clippers on Christmas, man. But this year, it's the Clippers versus the Suns. NBA, it's only right that you do that. Russ versus KD, Paul George versus Booker, and Kawhi versus Kate versus whoever. Because man, it's only fair. It's only fair. And also put it at 7 o'clock too, man. So people living in Cali, man, we could go to the games, have fun. NBA, this is a prime opportunity if you want to make a lot of money, man. Clippers versus Suns. Please make that happen. But wow, I'm looking forward to see what the Clippers do next season. I know. We were met with a lot of disappointments, but geez, I just want to see a fully healthy Clippers, man. So that way, they'll throw all the excuse out the window, man. But anyways, the second one is the James Harden to the Clippers rumor. It is it is getting stronger day by day by day. I believe Shams he tweeted a report that Clippers are trying to talk to the Sixers about Harden to the Clippers, and not too much of a surprise. Back in June, it's been like over a month right now, and I don't mind that we keep waiting because you want to find the best value possible for the Clippers. And the Clippers have complete leverage over the Philadelphia 76ers. Harden, it is clear that he's going to be off the team. No way possible that James Harden is going to pretty much return back. Um, Especially now I heard rumors that James Harden and the Sixers GM is pretty much strained. So eventually his value is going to get lower and lower and lower. And then once Morris gets shipped off to Philly, man, and Harden becomes a Clipper, that'll be amazing. James Harden and Marcus Morris. I mean, my bad. Marcus Morris and Norman Powell for James Harden. That would be a beauty. And I actually think that is a more fair deal for the 76ers than a lot of people think because people act like Norman Powell, he's just a regular role player. Even prior to the playoffs, Norman Powell is a quality role player that could get you 15 points, 20 points occasionally, despite him not really starting. And then now imagine if he starts with the 76ers to replace James Harden. He could have one of those Lou Williams type years. So it's actually not that bad of a offer for the 76ers. And, Daryl Morey just got to learn how to put his pride aside and, just not if and then just maybe you could either try to run it with Norman Powell and then Joel Embiid, or if Embiid's mad, there's nothing too wrong with hitting the full rebuild because then you can have Norman Powell as like the first or second option to Tyrese Maxey, and Norman Powell could just pad his stats and then maybe trade him to other teams because Norman Powell, he has a 3 years contract, so that is pretty long. So you're guaranteed to have him for at least another 3 years, pretty much. So there's always a chance that you could eventually flip him if there's a team that would want a scoring threat like Norman Powell. And as opposed to James Harden, his contract is pretty much going to expire. So again, Clippers have leverage. And the Clippers, they got to be responsible with this too, man, because you do not want to trade any of your young players or any of your first unprotected first round picks, man. Because the Clippers, we don't have a pick, our own draft pick till like 2027. I mean, we have like other first round picks, but OKC could swap it with us if they do better than us. But I mean, like 100% of our own pick, and usually it's not really the most wisest idea to trade your first round picks unless if you have a complete foundation. And what I mean by a foundation is you have like a young superstar, like for example the Dallas Mavericks, or I'm trying to think what else. I guess you could use the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Memphis Grizzlies because they have a foundation. So that way, when they would trade like a first round pick to try to help your main guy, that would be more in an acceptable term. But for the Clippers, Kawhi and Paul George, they're pretty old, man. Um, you never know what could actually happen, and we've seen many teams trying to form super teams. The Brooklyn Nets with KD, Harden, and Kyrie, even this year's Phoenix Suns, hasn't been really working out towards the best. So I mean, Harden to the Clippers, that would be amazing. Our offense would accelerate like crazy, but at the same time, you do not want to trade too much of your youth. You like if the Clippers were to trade for Harden, it should be for like a veteran for veteran trade. And if they include draft picks, that's fine. But if you include a first round pick, make it at least like a minimum like a top 8 or top 10 protected first round pick, man. Because bro, you don't know what the heck is gonna happen with the Clippers in 2027, 2028, man. Like we're gonna have like what, like nobody on the team, and then who knows? And then we just give the Sixers the no one pick just to go to try to star hunt. I would not be a huge fan of that, but at the same time, I don't think it's gonna really happen because the Clippers have leverage over the 76ers, and like I said, I think James Harden being a Clipper is inevitable, and the Clippers just keep being patient. Wait till training camp happens, but at the same time though, um, you could always try to like get the trade done before October. Like I say, like September is when you know when the Clippers should probably pretty much trade for James Harden because man, Sixers do not have too much of a choice. And like I said, the the max I'm trading for Harden is Norman Powell, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, and a heavily protected first round pick. Or honestly, I don't want to give any first round picks in general. Um, Also, if you want to trade guys like Amir Coffey, that's cool too, or Preston. Those are the young guys that I'm fine with trading. But obviously, Brandon Boston, Bones, Terrence Mann, nah, I'm not trading those. Um, and I really prefer not to trade Robert Covington. But if Robert Covington gets traded, as long as Morris gets traded, um, it may not be the worst thing in the world since we did acquire KJ Martin, and KJ Martin could definitely replicate the role that Robert Covington does. So that is that. But I would definitely try to hold on to Rocco, even though I know he's a veteran. But I don't mind trading all the other vets. Batum can go. Morris definitely could go. Um, and then Norman Powell. I know he's a little bit like he's definitely valued a lot in the Clipper community, but I definitely wouldn't hesitate trading Norman Powell either because even prior to getting James Harden, I would have definitely like would wanted Norman Powell traded regardless because not because he's a bad player, but I feel like his value is the highest right now, and I think it's time to give Brandon Boston Jr. every single minute that Norman Powell is playing. So I definitely won't really hesitate too much trading Norman Powell. But man, we'll see what happens within the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next month. That'll be interesting to see. But anyways, that should pretty much do it. We got two interesting events that happened for the Clippers. First, the Paul George and Devin Booker beef. When the Clippers play the Suns, that's gonna be pretty fun. And NBA, they just gotta put it on a Christmas list, man. And James Harden to the Clippers report. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope to see. And another thing I'm want to add on is I know a lot of people are gonna be like skeptical of Paul of the James Harden and Russell Westbrook backcourt because of their defense, and I definitely do not blame them. And it's gonna be a little bit weird because they're both ball dominant, but I think since we have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Zubac, I think Paul George and Kawhi could definitely do their jobs on defense. Zubac could protect the paint. Russell Westbrook, when he really, really plays defense, is during the playoffs. So you got four guys who can play defense. And James Harden, he might be the only one who's a liability on defense. But again, it's better than having Marcus Morris on your team, honestly, because at least Harden, he would get way more offense for the Clippers. But that's another thing I kind of want to add on. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Clippers, they become responsible about it. But pretty interesting. One more thing I just want to shout out. I just want to shout out my guy, Primetime Sports Podcast, man. Um, he also makes Clippers videos, but not lately because obviously the Clippers season has hasn't started. But give my man a check out, man. He's more like an all around type sports guy, but obviously he's a Clippers fan as well too, just like me. Met him via social media, but he also makes like baseball videos. So if you guys are more into baseball, he's the guy. Um, Also football, and then of course basketball. He's more like an all around sports guy. So please give him a good check out, man. Um, Makes really good videos and all that. But anyways, that should definitely wrap up the video. Thank y'all really much for tuning in, and peace.